All right, so we're talking about in regards to people thinking that every time a narcissist targets them, it's through love bombing. And they're looking for a love bomb or some sort of thing like that. And that's not always the case. And it's a little bit, broad in a sense and generalized because narcissists have various ways that they see fit, right? So it's not always the case where they're trying to wine and dine you and trying to, go out their way to, be this romantic, knight in shining armor, or, it's not always that way. In fact, a lot of cases, the narcissist is just around. They're just that person that, is consistent for what it's worth and around, and they grow on a person by just being around. A lot of people form attachments by having people around them. Doesn't necessarily have to be anything that happens romantically, sexually, or anything like that. That attachment can grow from merely just being around that person, and constant contact with you may be going out together, having fun together, and that's it, right? And it's not them trying to wine and dine you. It's just like they were around, you didn't want to go somewhere by yourself, and that's just what it was, right? And this doesn't have to be, it can be from the opposite sex and also the same sex under a friendship where you may think you met a cool friend or associate, but they're a narcissist, right? There's many different ways besides the love bombing aspect that a lot of people like to harp on and speak about. But no, they're just readily available all the time. And by being available all the time and being in your presence all the time, they grow on you. And this is what they're looking to see, like how much of an effect have they made on you by just being around you. Again, we're not talking about anything sexual. We're not talking about gifts and whining, and we're just talking about the plain, simple fact of just them being around, hanging out, laughing, having a good time. They're in. They're in. Because even with the love bombing, nothing really happens. Everything is about the value that you put on the narcissist. The value that you give them, how important to you are they, that's where it stands at. That's where it comes from. And knowing that, and knowing that your position of how you see them and the value that you put on them is what makes you vulnerable and open to them. Because even with love bombing, if you're not really feeling them and it's not, you're not really, you're not going to go there, right? You're not going to be able for them to maneuver to the next stages of really, opening you up and getting you to the point where, they just swept you off your feet, love bombed you. That's a mate. If a narcissist can love bomb you into being with them, you have a lot of open weaknesses that you are not aware of, which a lot of it, would include loneliness and not having being in lack of a companion or so forth for a while, to where they were able to use that tactic. Narcissists only are effective in areas that we are weak or unaware of about ourselves that would make us vulnerable to them. If you're gullible, if you're naive, if you're a hopeless romantic, if you're a person that's lonely, if you're a person that likes companionship, any of these things, they can get in by these things. It's hard for a narcissist to target someone who is very sound, solid, and okay with everything, including themselves and everything around them. It's very hard for a narcissist to penetrate that type of person and, manipulate them, target them, and make them, a victim of theirs. Right? That person is less likely to be pulled in to the lures and the traps of the narcissist. That's typically not going to be the thing to happen with them in that case. In any event, they're not going to be drawn in that way to where it's like, oh, they went out with me. A person who's, really grounded in themselves, they're going to be able to see, because they're going to ask the critical questions. They're going to look beyond what is put in front of them, right? They're going to do the critical thinking. They're going to do the, assessments and analysis of what is actually going on with this person and, that person's lifestyle and so forth and so on, to where they're not going to be so caught up in what the narcissist is doing. And granted, they do know how to turn it on. In certain areas, they know how to turn it on. At whatever it is that they feel like you are lacking, that they can home in on and really amplify, magnify that sensation or that signal to you to make you become more drawn to them. They will go above and beyond to do that if they are able to pinpoint it, spot it, and exploit it. But again, it's not always love bombing. You hear people say, oh, well, they got love bombed. I mean, just think about it in any way. To be love bombed, to go out that way, and someone that would admit to being like, well, and it's not coming. This is nothing against that, but you just have to think about it. That speaks to other things that's lacking in that person's life. They're probably lonely. They probably were feeling something was missing. They didn't feel appreciated. They didn't feel valued. They didn't feel loved, right? So the narcissist comes along and they're validating all of these areas that the person feels lack in. And the person goes for it, right? That's the only way love bombing really works. Yeah, you have to be really at a very depleted position already in your life and everything else, to just feeling, alone and no support or anything like that, or unloved. Yes, the love bombing will work on a person like that. People might not think so, but yeah, it will. And it does happen. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but that is not the only way that narcissists get in. There's other ways. There's playing the victim role. There's being the infinite companion. There's, the do-gooder. There's a lot of different ways that they get in to people, and it's based off where that person is psychologically and emotionally is what's going to dictate the method of how the narcissist approaches to get to them or target them. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful, this message at least useful. Yeah, just wanted to share that with y'all. Make sure to like, subscribe, one-on-one consultations. Just click the description box, shoot me an email. I'll get you information on how to go about doing that. Until next time, have a good one.